In this video, I'm just going to run through how you can set up your competition to take entries. So going through all of the configuration steps with managing the setup for that. So if we're on the home page, you need to click on the Manage button. So you will first of all need to be logged in. And then providing that you've already got your events loaded up, as so in this table, you want to head towards the paid entry config. So within this screen you have the opening date that you can set to your entries, and then a specific close date, and then a time of day for it to close. This will be in 24-hour format, so this is midday, whereas now we have 2 o'clock. Here you can manually change the entries, so your options not open yet, open, and have closed. With regards to the currency, you can leave this blank. There's no reason to set it. It defaults to the country that the competition is happening in. So if it was in France, it'd be the euro, whereas in the UK we have GBP. So you only need to write something in here really if you're taking currency in a money other than that of your country of origin. Here we have the price per event. So this is just the base price for all of your events. And then we look for price modifiers afterwards. So you can modify per event, which we do using this grid here. So you have the kind of modifier. So you can modify by a team, or we could do age group. We have event ID. We could do one of the custom questions, and so on and so forth. Now the way that this works, so let's say it was team, and we wanted Belgrave Harriers to have a discount. We would just do that, and then you put in a discount, let's say of £2. You put -2. If you wanted veterans or V45 and V50 to have a discount as well, you could do that. And then you have these various other options. So everyone doing a pole vault, you could say they need to pay an extra £2. People who have entered event number 2, T2 that is, they need to do an extra 50p. Sorry. There we go. And Q1, this refers to the custom questions, so I'll come to that in a minute. The per person surcharges works in exactly the same way as the above, but it's just per athlete. So this one will apply that £2 discount for every single event they enter, whereas if you did it in here, it would just be done once. We also have the option to do price modifiers for multiple events, a price modifier for a licensed athlete, like often what you see in road races. You have early discounts, so put the date in and then the discount up until that date. A second one, so put the date in and then discount up until the second date. And here you can add in chargeable extras. So for example, if you want to sell a t-shirt, you could put that in there. Here you can specify your sizes if you want. So just type them in and separate them by a comma. This will give a drop down option, and then you can put in the price. You can put anything you want in here really. So you could have like car parking, leave it blank, or just put all day if that's the only option. You could say £5, something like that. Contact details, so this will be the organisers' email addresses, and then these options are just help texts for your athletes when they go through the entry journey. So basically they're self-explanatory here. So step 2 help text, this is on the club selection stage. This step 3 is on the event selection stage, so on and so forth. Slightly new as of April 2020 is an additional step for charitable donations, so you can add this in here. And then help text for when athletes are looking at their baskets, and then terms and conditions. Finally, down here we have options for athletes putting in performances when they're going through the entry process. So qualifying performance would be a performance within the past 2 seasons. And then obviously PB and SB are obvious. You don't want to have both of these shown even. It's a bit overkill, so I'd do one or the other if it's relevant for your event. QP is obviously quite important for seeding purposes if you will need that, whereas PB and SB is quite handy for like start list and viewing that information for the public, but asking your athletes to fill in all 3 will be a bit cumbersome. Emergency info, postal address if you need to post something like the t-shirt out to them. The charity share of entry fee, so if you want to set a proportion of your entry fee to go direct or to go to a charity, then you can do that here. It works sort of like a percentage, so let's say we'd set the events at £5. If we want 50% of that, so £2.50 to go to charity, would do 0.5. So it's between 0 and 1, so we do £1.25 there. And then charity title, so which charity you want people to donate to, subtitle for it, and then you can also give a suggested donation as well. Finally, we have the option to put in some custom questions, so it could be as simple as what music do you want as you run the 10k, and then you put the type in, so that's obviously going to be text. There aren't any options there. We don't really want that required, whereas you could do other things such as things for like a price modifier, which you can make as required, and then up on these boxes that we were looking at earlier, you could, let's say the option was yes, that would give you, a price surcharge of £2. So well, whatever you want in this really, and then you literally just save, and that's all of the modifications for the pricing. One other thing that you'd need to do, which is just in the normal config, ignoring these sections here, you want to set who the event is for, so whether they have to be licensed, whether you will do a license check but you don't necessarily care, or whether it's just open for anyone. And then these here are the options as to who they can click to enter as. So they could choose unattached, they could search our database for their club or school, you could create ad hoc teams like a pub team, which they could choose from a drop down, or this one where you could have drop downs of all of the national teams which they could select. If you do clubs and organisations, you will need to tick from this box which organisations you will allow them to select from in our database.